Another Bobcat S64. This is an R series. Man, I literally just did a video yesterday on a T76 with electrical problems. Now I've got one the very next day, S64. Same type of electrical problems that we're going to look at, and I think the battery's dead because the alarms and stuff were going off on it, and someone literally asked me in the questions because we looked at the battery being under the cab. You have to lift the cab to get to the battery, so he asked, is there a remote jump spot location for the machine? And the answer to that is yes. It's in the engine compartment, so I've got the back door open. Let's kind of take a look in there where we're going to hook up our cables. Down right here underneath the air filter box, we can see this location right here. This is going to be a remote jump point. This is our positive, and then down here on the frame we've got a negative for the ground, or we can put it somewhere on the engine or something. But I'm going to go ahead and hook up my jump box there, and then we'll get inside and take a look at the symptoms of this machine. So I didn't turn the machine on, I just hooked the jump box to it, and automatically the ignition come on, the fuel pump's running, and kind of the same thing as yesterday. We got alarms going off, but today it looks like the screen is on, but these buttons aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, and then the machine's not starting. So do we have moisture in the connections again? I don't know. Let's get the cab open and see what we find. God. This cab is really heavy. Someone was talking about that the other day, is that it seems like the shocks are always freaking blown out on these things. And God, I should back in here and use my crane. Ugh. Just too heavy, I can't lift it. So instead of pulling the crane out, I used some more leverage and I was able to get the cab up. But I guess I'll start with the cab controller again and see what we find. Now we can see the orientation of this cab controller is facing down. So that's different than the orientation of the one we worked on yesterday, where it was mounted horizontally. So let's see what we find in here. Well, it's bone dry. Looks good. So now we got to get down to our hub controller, and I guess I need some light. But see, on this model, yesterday we had that plastic boot over this hub controller, and now on this one we do not have a boot over it. So this one's just completely exposed. But I think we found that the boot does not seem to help, does it? And I know it's dark down here, but yes, this connector right here, and I know you can't see it on camera, but it has moisture all around the seal. The seal looks good. You know, again, we're looking to make sure that seal's not rolled, but the pins do have moisture in the pins here. Looking at the other side, kind of the same thing. The seal's in good condition. It's not rolled, but there is moisture around the pins. So how's it getting in there? Because if that seal's not rolled, water's not supposed to be able to get in there. So just like yesterday, I'm going to go ahead and clean these connectors out with a, you know, WD-40 makes a really good contact cleaner. I'm going to leave the link in the description. And it's also a moisture dissipation, because again, there's mixed reviews out there, but the articles that I've read, Bobcat does not recommend using dielectric grease. Personally, I like dielectric grease, but I'm just telling you what Bobcat's recommending. You know, at one point, like I said, someone's going to tell you to put it around the seal, but they say don't put it around the seal, because then when you unplug it, it's all slippery, and it's going to be more likely that that seal gets dislodged at that point. So at no point do they recommend, from what I understand, using dielectric grease. All right, now that I got the connectors cleaned out and blown out with compressed air, and I double checked the seals, make sure they weren't rolled, I'm going to get the cab back down and see if that fixed our problem or not. Well, no alarms in the cab, that's good news. All right, screen turns on. Now let's just see if it'll start. No, because my jump box isn't hooked up good. Let me hook that up a little better. Finally got it running. I'll raise the cab back up again. I put my jump box directly to the battery because my jump box was not showing dead. I guess as we could see back there, that remote jump location was kind of rusted, and I just couldn't get a real good connection back there. So once I hooked directly to the battery, I know this Noco would start this machine, and it did. So now it's fired off, it's running, it sounds really good. I'm going to let this battery charge up for a few minutes, and then we're going to take it around and test it and make sure everything works okay. But that just goes to show in the field that not everything is as routine as we would like it to be. It seems like it's always something, but again, we found moisture in the hub controller just like we did on the other machine. But take a look at this picture. I'm going to show you this picture because this is the cab controller connection. This is one I did just 3 or 4 days ago. This is my third machine this week with water issues on the R series. So just to give you an idea of what it looks like when there's a lot of water in there. And again, how that water gets in there, it's a mystery. We may never know. Any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching.